Welcome to the Bulletproof Cashflow podcast, the go-to place to gain financial freedom through real estate investing. Here we interview investors, mentors, and entrepreneurs who share their secrets and advice to help you build passive income. Let's get into the show.
Hey everyone, this is Agostino. I often talk about the importance of establishing the right mindset to build your multifamily business. The one thing that I've discovered about this business is that if we focus our time, our energy, and our money, we're able to create a life of abundance. Well, today's guest is a master financial coach, a public speaker, and a real estate entrepreneur. She found her calling early on to inspire others to rid themselves of debt and build wealth. To that end, she has coached people that had over $800,000 of personal unsecured debt, to coaching people with over 86 credit cards and helping them all get to zero. Aside from helping people build financial success, she also owns real estate rentals and runs a flipping business. She's the author of Money Matters, where she provides keys to demolishing debt and how to budget correctly and gives principles in wealth building. With all that, I'd like to welcome Karen Ford to the show. Hey, Karen, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you for having me, Agostino. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great one. Well, before we go on, if you like what Karen has to say, you can reach her via her company website at karenford.org. And of course, if you like our content, please don't forget to leave a comment and rate the show. Okay, Karen, maybe give the listeners a brief history on how you got your start.
Oh, sure. Well, my background is I'm actually a registered nurse, but I haven't practiced as a nurse for several years. And I look at it like this. I used to help people get healthy physically, and now I help people get healthy financially. And several years ago, I had a friend of mine say, you know what, Karen, you need to get some more training in that money area because you're really good at it. And it dawned on me, I actually have had people tell me my entire life that I was good with numbers and money, but I didn't really see it about myself. And I think sometimes when something is kind of a gift on the inside of a person, something that kind of comes naturally, they don't necessarily see it about themselves, but other people around them do. So I went and I received some more training, and I absolutely love it. I do coaching one-on-one. I coach couples. I give financial freedom seminars. I'm an author, and I speak about money, demolishing debt, budgeting, taking control of your money instead of your money being out of control, and then also investing. It's such a passion with me because I want to see people win with money.
Yeah. I think part of it is that when we're kids and we're getting the information from our friends and our family early on, it's often told to us that money's evil, money's bad, or money's the root of all evil. That's my favorite one, right?
Yeah.
Money doesn't grow on trees. It's like it's all about scarcity. It's all about scarcity. And I believe that kind of stuff, that kind of self-talk,
Right.
when it enters our brains and we start thinking that way, it actually hurts our chances of being successful.
That's so true. And you just said something pretty powerful. Some people have thought, well, money's the root of all evil. You're not supposed to have money. Well, first of all, who is supposed to have money, right? I mean, if I only have enough money to take care of me, then I can't really help somebody down the street. I can't help a single mom who's maybe working and struggling. I can't help her because I only have enough for me. So in essence, that's kind of a selfish attitude, just to have enough to get by, or just enough for me, when really the reality is we're all supposed to walk in abundance. Because if we walk in abundance, then we have more than enough so that we can help somebody else out. And you had said money is the root of all evil. And I've had people tell me that, oh, you're not supposed to have it. Money's the root of all evil. But that's a misquote. It's actually the love of money that's the root of all evil. So if we love money and we put it first in our lives, then that's not going to get us anywhere. But if we have a realistic balance of money in our lives, and we work, to make money and then have the money work for us, then it's a win-win situation.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And that's how we run our business here too. We actually buy multifamily assets, and for me, it's about taking down an asset. I love acquiring an asset and all the fun stuff, the struggles, the good and the bad. But it's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
And the money will be there. I know it's going to be. There's going to be there for me. It's going to be there for my investors, and that's why they're investing. They want to secure their future and build wealth. That's the whole purpose to doing all this.
That's right.
So tell me about your focus now as far as setting up the mindset is concerned. A big part of what we do in my coaching anyway is I try to get the mindset right, and we use a variety of different methods. Maybe talk a little bit about some of the methods that you use when getting them into that right mindset that they really need to have to think of in terms of abundance.
Well, I actually have to ask a lot of questions because I need to locate where they are because it's kind of like mapping for a trip. Let's say you decide you want to go on a trip. Let's say you want to go to Florida and you know it's so many miles away. Are you going to fly? Are you going to drive? Whatever that looks like. But let's say that you're going to drive. Well, you don't want to go east, you don't want to go west. You want to go south. If you live in the north and you want to go on a trip to Florida, then you have to go south. So you map your route. Do you want to take the long way around where you have to drive 32 hours, or do you want to get to Florida in 16 hours? So it all has to do with destination. What is the person's destination? Do you want to see yourself debt free? Do you want to see yourself building wealth? And if they can see it, what I usually have them do is I'll have them write down, where do you see yourself? Where do you want to see yourself in 5 years, a year from now? And I have them write it down because when you write something down, it becomes more real. Many times people think, well, I want this, I want that. But if they never write it down, a vision without a goal remains a dream. So if you have a vision and you want to see yourself debt free, but you never write it down and set up goals, then you're never going to get there. It's kind of like, well, I think I'll take this route, but you never get in the car to take the trip. Well, of course, you're never going to get there because you're not taking the necessary steps. So that's the first step that I have. I have them write it down. The second thing I have them do is I want to locate if they really believe that they want it. Do you really believe that you want to be debt free? It's one thing to wish it, but then to believe it. And I have the mindset thoughts become words, words become actions, actions become feelings, and then you're going to end up with habits. So the mindset is so very powerful because if you don't believe that you can do it or attain it, you'll never take the necessary steps to act on it. So sometimes there's a demolition, if I may say, in the mind, in their thought process. If they don't believe they can do it, then we have to start at square one and get them to believe that they can do it. And that's where I come in. These are some steps that you can do. And I'll get my calculator out and I'll say, if you do these things right here, you can be debt free in 4 years, which that is a real paradigm shift for them. It's almost like they have a deer in the headlight moment because they didn't see that that could actually be done. Just making a few tweaking things in their finances can reap an abundance for them. But they are so welled up in debt or they're so in the middle of their situation, they can't see their way out. And I have like magnifying glasses on and I can see a way out for them. And that's what I do. I show them the way out.
Excellent.
It's kind of like a person in a maze. They know there's an end, but they don't know how to get there. So they wander around in that maze. I show them how to get out of that maze.
I think what happens for most people is that they just get comfortable carrying all that debt and they just get used to it. And they may think about it. They may look at their statement, sigh, put it away, and just do whatever the old habit is, just like you pointed out.
Right.
But I imagine that when you're in your 20s, your 30s, and your 40s, for instance, in these three different demographic groups, you're applying a very different strategy between these three, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I mean, a 20-year-old, they might think that they have plenty of time. And certainly they have more time than a 50-year-old trying to build wealth. But the importance of it, man, the younger that you can start with managing your money and building up wealth, you have a great advantage because of your age. You have more time to do it. You could make riskier decisions where a 50-year-old or a 60-year-old, they're not going to want to take a real big risk. They have to lean on the safe side. Where if you're 20, you can have a balance of risk and safety and it'll still balance out. But somebody that's older, they're not going to want to take all that risk.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So would you say, having applied your real estate background, At what point is a good idea to invest in real estate? Do you often recommend it for the younger people, for the older people, for everyone, for no one? How do you do that?
Oh no, I recommend it for everyone. Right now, real estate is a great investment. All the land that there is here on the earth, that's it. There isn't new land coming up, right? So real estate is a great investment. Whether you're 20-year-old, 40-year-old, or 60 years old, you can still take a risk with real estate, but it may depend on what kind of risk do you want to take. So how much money do you have? Do you want to spend maybe a few $1,000s on real estate, or do you want to spend $150,000 on real estate? It all depends on your comfort level, number one. How much cash do you have? And the other thing is if you've never bought real estate, then we want to start very gradual. It's almost like testing the waters. I don't want to see somebody, no matter how old they are, and they've never done flipping or bought real estate. I don't want to see them go and buy a $500,000 house and think they're going to flip it and make money. So knowing where your comfort level is, your demographics, where are you going to buy this real estate? What are the comps in the area? In other words, if you're looking in a neighborhood and all of the houses sell for $150,000, around that, then you don't want to buy a house in that neighborhood for $200,000. Think you're going to put $50,000 in it and sell it for $300,000 as a flip. Not going to happen. But if you take that same neighborhood and the houses are selling for $150,000, and for some reason there's a house in that neighborhood that's a foreclosure, and maybe you can pick it up for 60 or 70 and put 20 or 30 in it, then yeah, you can make some money flipping that house. So it all has to do with comfort level, knowing the demographics, where you're going to buy the property, getting your feet wet, and also, how much money do you want to spend? I've bought properties for as low as $10.
Wow.
And that is fun. Do you want me to tell you how I did that?
Yeah, I want to hear that.
Every state in the continental United States has a state auditor office. And the state auditor office will acquire properties for them to sell because people didn't pay their real estate taxes for whatever reason. Maybe the person passed away, maybe they didn't have any heirs, maybe the person passed away and the heirs don't pay taxes on it. They just don't want to deal with it. So after a few years of the property taxes being unpaid, those properties go to the state auditor office. And every year they have a state auditor office auction. And it'll be on various days in various counties. And so online, we'll check in my home state when those auctions are going to come up. Well, several years ago, now I will not advise this for anyone. Do your due diligence and find out where these properties are. But I was hot. I was ready to hold my number up and buy something. And this particular property came up for bid, and they start the bidding at $10. And I knew the vicinity where it was, but I hadn't laid my eyes on it. And I held my number up. I got it for $10. Nobody bid against me. I was so excited. I was like, yeah, I got that property for $10. Well, I got my attorney. We did the necessary paperwork. I got the deed. And then I thought, okay, I got the deed. I better go find out where you are. So I went to it. Long story short, it was a trailer. It had a padlock on it with a big sign. Do not enter. This was a meth house.
Oh my God.
So I thought, okay, what can I do with you? Because obviously no one can live in that trailer. It has to be removed. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to lay my cards out on the table. So I marketed it on Facebook yard sale sites, and I just laid it all out. This trailer, you cannot live in it. It's uninhabitable. It was a meth house. It needs removed, but you are buying the trailer and the lot that it's on. And I sold it and I made a profit. Now, I do not advise anyone to buy properties without setting your eyes on it and checking the condition. But since then, learning my lesson, we buy properties every year, sometimes for $10, sometimes for several thousand. But then once we get the deeds, then we decide, okay, we go in. All right, are we going to flip you? Sometimes we flip them. Sometimes we just clean them up and sell them for a profit and let somebody else flip them. But yeah, real estate is a very lucrative way of making money. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we our focus is on multifamily, but for anyone that wants to get started, I even tell them, fine, get into a single family, do something, do anything, but you just got to do it right.
Yeah,
It's just got to take action. That's right.
that's right.
So currently, how do you buy your houses today then? Are you still going to the auditor auction sites or any other ways that you're doing it?
Oh, yes. The state auditor office auction we use. Also, regular auctions. Sometimes people don't want to list their properties with a real estate agent because of the process of time. And we actually have certain auctioneers here in West Virginia where people will say, sell my house, sell my property, and they promise to close once that highest bid wins. They have the winning bid. They are to close on that property within 30 days. So it's a win-win because the owner knows they're going to close in 30 days. They're going to be out from underneath that mortgage, or maybe they have to move and they need to sell it quick, whatever the case may be. So we buy them through auctions that way. Also, foreclosures are another great way to buy properties. There's a particular website that frequent just about on a daily basis, and it's actually www.hudhomestore.com. And you can go to that. It'll show a map of the United States. You can click on the state you want, and then you can type in whatever county you're looking in. And you could see, it'll list the properties, it'll show you pictures, it'll show what they're selling them for. Now, last year, I bought a property through the HUD Home Store website, and it was a foreclosure. A lot of the homes that are on that website are foreclosures. And this particular house was in my hometown here, and I had driven by it. I actually had gone inside to see the condition. But this house, there was something about it. It had brand new furnace, brand new central air. And they had put that in 1 year before they foreclosed, because after I looked at the property, you can find out a lot of information from the neighbors. So I knocked on doors. And of course, they're a little bit more open because I'm a lady. So if you're a man, you might knock on the door with a lady with you. That way they're not thinking, ooh, why are you here? And I just said, look, I'm looking at this property over here. What can you tell me about it? And they'll talk your ear off. They'll tell you all kinds of information about the people that live there. They'll tell you information about the particular property. Long story short, we put a bid on that property and we heard back from the HUD Home Store and they said, no, we can't accept that offer. You offered less than what we're asking. We have to have this amount of money. And I kept saying, no, I'm going to give you this amount of money. And so I think we did that 3 times that they said they weren't going to take any less. So I told my realtor, because you have to have a realtor put in the bid for you. I said, raise it by $1. Raise it by $1. So every day, every time they decline, because they always have to reply via email if they accept or decline your offer. So we increased it every day by $1. And so on a Thursday, I said, Suzanne, when you send that bid in, I know I'm terrible, aren't I? I like a deal. So I said, when you increase it $1 this time, send a note saying, we know there isn't anybody else bidding against me. This is our final bid. So Friday, Suzanne calls me and she says, they accepted your offer.
Wow.
So they will accept less than what they're asking, but they want to get as much as they can out of it, obviously, because it's a foreclosure. But you can kind of dig your heels in the sand, so to speak, especially if you know there isn't anybody else bidding. Now, they're not going to tell you there isn't anybody else bidding, but I thought there isn't anybody else bidding because otherwise it would have already been sold. So I got that
Wow.
property.
You still own it today, right?
No, we sold it. We flipped it.
Sold it.
We went
Okay.
in, we gutted both bathrooms, put 2 new bathrooms in, gutted the kitchen, put a new kitchen in, painted the entire interior, replumbed, put new electric in it, new flooring in it. And so the couple that bought it had 2 little girls, 4-year-old and 2-year-old. And I was just so pleased that they bought that property because young family, first time home buyers, they're not going to have to do anything to that property. I felt really good about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So When you're coaching people on how to become debt free and build wealth, are you actually helping them through this process of flipping or acquiring homes, that kind of thing? Or are you just mainly sticking to just the management side of things?
Well, when somebody comes to me for coaching, the first question I have is, are you wanting to get your money manageable? Are you needing to learn how to budget, how to get out of debt, that kind of a thing? Is that what we need to start with now? Or are we looking at real estate investing? Are we looking at that? So I kind of just lay it out there and give them the option. Sometimes they're not ready to do any investing because of the amount of debt they have. So at first it's going to be getting out of debt, demolishing debt, budgeting, taking control of their money. And many times they'll come back and say, okay, let's talk about investing now. We have our money under control and we can move forward with that.
Yeah. Because it's ultimately what it is. I mean, when I was early in my career, when I was first starting this stuff, I didn't really focus on building wealth. Honestly, I didn't. It took me later on in life to figure all that out. So the earlier you're able to do it, you'd be way, way, way better off than waiting on this stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. So when it comes to your flipping business now, who's actually doing that kind of work? Do you have like a team of people that's going around and from house to house flipping and as you go, and how many do you have going at any given moment?
Well, last year we had bought 9 properties. And so we would acquire those deeds at varying times. We didn't get all 9 deeds in the mail at the same time, which that was a win because that would have been maybe a little overwhelming. But we go in first, the owner. We go in and we scan it and we decide what is going to be done. And then I meet with the contractor and let them know, this is what I want done. How much are you going to charge me? And what's the time frame? How soon can you be done? What's the date you're going to be done? So, and of course, you have to give a little bit of grace with that because sometimes it's like peeling back an onion and then they find out, oh, there's something else that needs done here that's going to be a little bit more expensive and I need another week. We had bought a house. It was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, full basement. And we thought there was only one wall that needed replaced because of wind, rain, weather, that kind of thing. Well, he got in there and he took that wall down. We thought he was just going to have to rebuild that one wall. He actually had to rebuild 3 walls and replace floor joists on half the house with the flooring. So, of course, the timeline extended and then the money extended. So, like I said, sometimes it is like peeling back an onion. You may find some other things, but you have to expect the unexpected when it comes to real estate because it's not really unexpected. When you're buying a property and you haven't been inside the property before you buy it, such as the state auditor auction, you don't get to go into those properties until after you get the deeds. You can see the outside of it and you can kind of maybe make some guesses and assessments. Okay, there aren't any broken windows. The roof is in good shape. You can kind of see some things that may be done or you may not. So when you get those deeds, that's when there may be a little bit of an element of surprise. So to answer your question, we'll buy as many properties as we can. And then as we acquire those deeds, we go in, we evaluate what's going to need done. We make the list, and then we make up a contract of the things that we want our contractor to do. And then we fill in the blanks. This is when it's going to be done, and this is how much he's going to charge. And that way it's all in writing. He knows how much it's going to be, how much he's going to get paid, when it has to be done. And then we have that on file as well.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that's fun.
But one of the things that really prevents people from taking that first step is setting up the mindset to even get to do what you're doing today, right?
Right.
What do you think contributed to building that mindset right from the very, very beginning? Like, what was it that really adjusted your brain or your thought pattern to get you into building wealth of your own, whether through real estate or through other things? Like, what was that?
To be honest with you, I'm just going to say, step out and find out. We can all be afraid and think, well, I don't know if I can do that. I'm not sure if this is going to work. You're not going to know until you try it. And so I didn't do the best that I could a few years ago when I bought that property sight unseen for $10. Thank God I was still able to sell it and made a profit on it. But I stepped out because I thought, okay, it's only $10. I mean, it's only $10. So if it turns out that I never sell it, okay, I didn't have that much in it. That's why I say if a person wants to begin investing, whether it's real estate, whether it's stocks, whatever it is, start small because then your investment is small. And if for some reason it doesn't work out, you're not going to be out that much money. So with real estate, I stepped out, I found out, I sold it, I made a profit, and I thought, okay, I can go bigger now. I already know what not to do. Now I'm going to bid on better properties, obviously spend more money. And you're always in a learning process. Don't ever think that you're going to go into real estate investing or any type of investment and think, well, I know it all, because you don't. We don't know it all. And there's always some kind of surprises that come up, but that's okay. I'm always learning, always learning. So we've bought properties, I can give you an example. Last year, two different houses and I'll give you these two examples. We bought one house at that state auditor auction for $1,500, and we bought another house for $600, right?
Wow.
So the house that we bought for $1,500, we thought that was going to be like great, and that we were going to make a bigger profit on that one than the $600 one. When we went into the $1,500 house, there had been cats in there, feral cats, and there was a foul smell, and there was a lot of cleaning up to do. We sold it. We made money on it. We made a profit on it. But the house that we bought for $600, we made a huge profit on it. We actually thought that the $600 house was going to be in worse shape than the other one. And it was in great shape. It had new electric entrance, new electric inside, new plumbing. It was 5 bedrooms.
Wow.
2 bathrooms, kitchen, living room, family room, full basement. But see, we didn't know that until we went in. But the looks of it from the outside, we thought it would be in worse shape than the other one, but it wasn't. So that's why I say you can spend a little bit of money in real estate and step out and find out. But not doing it, you're going to kick yourself thinking, wow, I wish I would have done that. Maybe I could have done it, but you're not going to know until you step out and find out. Just do it.
That's right.
Start small.
I often say the same thing. That what are your general thoughts about even partnering up with someone who's actually done it before? Like maybe you bring the money, but they bring the expertise.
Right. Well, and I absolutely agree with that. One thing to keep in mind, though, and I would assume probably you either know the person, you're a friend. Listen, when it comes to money and relationships, there still has to be some kind of a written contract. And if you're partner with somebody, you can say, look, we're friends. So what I don't want to see happen is we disagree on something and we end up not being friends any longer. So we almost have to look at this as a separate entity than our friendship. So this is a work relationship over here, and our friendship is here. So that's something to look into. And if one's bringing money to the table and the other one is doing the grunt work or whatever that is, just make sure you have something in writing, what each one's responsibilities are, and talk out what your expectations are. Sometimes people go into a business agreement like that, but they don't really know what to expect. Therefore, they don't have any expectations written down. And then the frustration and aggravation ensues because they didn't have that discussion beforehand.
Yeah, that's absolutely 100% true when it comes to partnerships.
Yes.
It's outlining who's doing what and make sure that they're sticking to it. It's 100% true, 100% true.
That's right.
Now, tell me about your most influential book and why.
I would have to say my most influential book is Money Matters. And the reason I would say that that's the most influential is because it's a very meaty book. I talk about the mindset, getting your thoughts right. Also budgeting. I put in the keys to how to properly budget. Why do we budget? And these are the benefits of budgeting. And then the principles in demolishing debt. How do you get rid of all of this debt? Like I said before, I coached somebody that had 86 credit cards between the husband and the wife. And so there were a lot of debts that they needed to demolish. How can we do that quickly? And then I also talk about wealth building in that book as well. It's meaty.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know what, though? And that's something that most people need, especially when they're getting started. It's kind of like reestablishing the baseline.
That's right.
Reestablishing the baseline. Absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, if you want to reach out to Karen, you can reach her via her website at karenford.org. I'll also include a link to her book, Money Matters. Thank you for your time. Greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much. My pleasure, Agostino.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the Bulletproof Cashflow podcast. For more free podcasts, articles, videos, and resources, go to www.bulletproofcashflow.com.